You know, I think one of the biggest problems that I have when I'm not, maybe not just in life, possibly, but definitely while I'm on stage doing comedy, I guess I could relate it all around. But I always kind of feel like I'm in a rush, so I talk fast or I'll do something and I just won't slow down. And one of the biggest things that I learned while being in the Army was this amazing phrase called slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Because hypothetically, right, if some guy is like pressuring you and shooting and he's getting closer and closer and he's closing distance and you have to reload, you don't want to be fumbling for your ammunition and trying to change your magazine and everything else, right? You just got to be slow and smooth is fast, and you acquire your target and you take them out, right? That's exactly what I do on stage now, which is essentially, I remember that as long as I speak clearly and I slow down, people can hear me and they can understand it more. I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush to tell my jokes, right? Whereas before, I was more focused on the time instead of the quality of every single individual word. And that's something, this is just like a random rant kind of sort of, but it's also like a good lesson. Not just about comedy, but as far as everything goes, if you you're stretching maybe, right? But you rush, right? If you rush while you're stretching, you're not really stretching, because stretching is really about holding, right? Expanding, contracting, and you hold those positions on both ends, right? So, yeah, this was just something that I was thinking to myself, and I knew it was like a big, sometimes, for me at least, I'm kind of like internally seeking and trying to find out, not just how to make myself better, but you ever feel like something is missing, like you leave the house and you feel like there's just, maybe a light was on or whatever, right? When I have that feeling, I really try to slow down and search within myself, and that's usually what the answer is. And usually when you slow down, think about it like this: you can run really, really fast, but your breathing isn't out of control. You're not breathing fast, right? You're taking time with your breathing while running at a fast pace, right? It's still controlled, right? And that's part of the whole concept of slow is smooth and smooth is fast. It means to really control yourself, to control every single action. Because once you're in control, quality-wise is better. You reduce the amount of mistakes. And mistakes are always going to be something that happens. I don't want to go off on too big of a tangent in the wrong direction. But, yeah, I just know it's really important. And most of my podcasts, if not talking about comedy, it might have to do about some aspect of internal improvement, if that kind of sort of makes sense, and even, you ever try to explain something when it's internal, like I'm doing now? It's always more difficult because you're really digging deep. You're really trying to get to the answer of something. That's what I'm trying to do. So when you compound that with adding a listener to it, just stick with me, because that's what I'm doing, right? So if you just remember the phrase slow is smooth and smooth is fast, if you just apply it to your life, I guarantee you're going to get instant results immediately, right? And maybe just like when I'm on stage, if you find yourself not really, you're kind of like thoughts or ahead of your actions, just pull back a click, right? So you slow down, in my circumstance, right? People can hear your words. You're not in a rush, and you don't have to feel that way, right? And your quality will be better, reduction of errors, and you're going to be kicking ass even more. So anyway, this was kind of like an internal and external rant. I say internal because it's about me, but external because obviously I'm saying it out loud. But I'm a big believer that when you try to contextualize and say these things, it's like an additional way of also remembering and also digging, right? Getting that information out. Because thinking, it doesn't, you're not really filtering any thoughts. I mean, kind of, sort of, but not really compared to, in comparison to when you like take it out and you're talking to yourself out loud. I think it's like really, really important and healthy to do. And unless you're doing what I'm doing, you don't really have a way or a vice or a reason or anything to do that. So that's another great reason I love this podcast, because, of course, I benefit from it. But you, the listener, have the opportunity, provided by I'm not speaking in too many circles, right, to benefit from it too. So if there's anything that I just said now that benefits you, well, that's great. You know what I mean? And at the very least, this helped me just get a little bit better. And it's important. It's extremely important. And I always need to apply it. And I feel like you, listener, probably do too. Because it's just such a great universal term, which is why they, teach about it and talk about it in the Army. So anyway, with that being mentioned, I hope everybody has a beautiful day. I really appreciate the time that you give between your work and your school and everything else. Other podcasts. I don't have guests. Maybe I'll do it one time, or whatever. But yeah, I just appreciate you guys. And at the very least, this is one more repetition for myself, adding it to my memory and my applications and actions. So without further ado, this is Benja Welldone. Check me out. Peace.